a swing of a bat to change society. I chose to research Jackie Robinson, a historically famous civil rights activist and MLB baseball player. He stood up for the rights of suppressed African Americans throughout the world and inspired them to follow their dreams. He has inspired me and will hopefully inspire you as you read these entries. Jackie Roosevelt Robinson was born on January 31st, 1919 to Jerry and Mally Robinson, as the youngest of his 5 siblings. In 1920, his father, Jerry, abandoned the family because of how little money they made off of sharecropping on Jim Sasser's farm. So, they decided to move to California. When they first arrived in Pasadena, the Robins lived with Mally's Uncle Burton until Mally managed to buy a house on 121 Pepper Street. This was a predominantly white neighborhood, so the Robinsons had to ignore the racism that they received very often, such as threats to burn the house down and racial slurs from both parents and children. While living in Pasadena, Jackie attended Cleveland Elementary and Washington Middle School. As a child, Robinson's family was poor, but Mally, as Robinson described it, worked magic to give her family what they needed to thrive. Due to this magic, Jackie and his siblings developed many talents, and Jackie excelled at most sports. Jackie's athletic ability started during his time at John Muir Technical High School, playing 4 sports but mainly excelling at baseball and track. After graduating high school, he attended Pasadena Junior College, where he continued to excel in all 4 sports. During his attendance at PJC, he broke his brother Mac's broad jump record of 25 feet 1/2 inches. He also led Pasadena to the Junior College Championship, where he was named the most valuable player. After graduating from Pasadena Junior College in 1939, he continued to show his athletic skill and attended the University of California, Los Angeles, or UCLA. Jackie Robinson is one of the most memorable athletic careers in UCLA history, winning letters in football, baseball, basketball, and track. Most of his accomplishments were because of motivation from his 2 siblings, his older brother Mac being one of his role models, having won 2 sprinting medals in the Berlin Olympics of 1936, and his other brother Frank, who was his biggest fan and supported him in most of his life up until college, when he tragically died in 1939. In 1941, Jackie was given a job as Assistant Athletic Director at the National Youth Administration in Atascadero, California. In 1942, Jackie would go on to serve in a segregated Army unit and become a lieutenant until his service would end 2 years later because he refused to sit in the back of the bus. He was then given an honorable discharge in 1944 after a trial. After that, he joined the Kansas City Monarchs and was then with them until Branch Rickey took him to play for the Dodgers farm team, the Montreal Royals. In that same year, he would marry Rachel Isom. They would later have 3 kids, Jackie Jr., Sharon, and David. In 1947, Jackie was finally drafted to the Brooklyn Dodgers, becoming the first African American to play on a Major League Baseball team. At the end of the 1947 season, he was awarded Rookie of the Year, and then in 1949, chosen to be the MVP, or Most Valuable Player of the MLB. Before the end of his career in 1956, he had competed in 6 World Series games and 6 All-Stars games. Suddenly, in 1971, Jackie Robinson Jr. would die in a tragic car accident. Unfortunately, Jackie Robinson died of a heart attack in his home in Stamford, Connecticut on October 24, 1972, at the age of 53. Jackie Robinson was one of the most famous icons in history, but most of his accomplishments came in his later life. He challenged the Army to include African Americans in officer candidate school. He would also be one of the most famous athletes in UCLA history. After graduating from UCLA, he would play in many leagues, but eventually become the first ever African American to play in the major leagues. While in the major leagues, he set attendance records in all the stadiums he played in, except Cincinnati. This was because of the inspired African Americans who wanted to see him play. Jackie was also part of the NAACP, National Association of the Advancement of Colored People project, where he received the company's greatest honor, the Spring Guard Medal. He would also convince the company to raise money for his Fight to Freedom Fund. He fundraised for Dr. Martin Luther King and was elected to the company's board of directors. He also raised bail money to free imprisoned civil rights activists in the South. On March 26, 1984, Jackie was given the Medal of Freedom by President Ronald Reagan, and in 1996, Jackie would have a commemorative coin for himself established by President Clinton. Finally, the U.S. Post Office would create a stamp in his honor, and the MLB would forever retire his jersey number 42. I chose this person because I was inspired all he had gone through in his life and how he was one of the most talented sports players in the world. I was also inspired by his overall kindness and his ability to make a difference in the lives of people with words and a swing of the bat.